What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co host, Josh.
Hey everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the Film Bros podcast. Okay, so um, happy early Merry Christmas. I don't know.
Early
This
Christmas.
early Christmas, right? This uh, this two-parter episode that we're basically gonna be doing today is gonna be a great Christmas cheer, a great Christmas treat, despite what anybody says about it. Okay, I can punch an air right now.
Okay, okay.
It's gonna be a great Christmas treat because we're gonna be discussing where Christmas basically went actiony, and then other movies that go in his filmography. So today we're gonna be discussing Bruce Willis, basically, and we're gonna be discussing all of his movies uh from The Sixth Sense to Looper to we're not gonna do his little escapade that he decided to do towards the end of his
Yeah.
acting career, where he decided to just be in movies just for the hell of it. Now, some of them might be fun. I've seen a couple of them that he's done, but I'm just, I'm very cautious on what I'd be watching from Bruce Willis when it came down to, his end of acting career. But good. I mean, he's been in like over 160 movies.
Yeah. I
That's
I I didn't know the list was that long until I like Googled some of his other movies off the site that I was using. So
mhm.
I was like, oh my god, thank goodness we're
Yeah.
only cutting this down to 12 because we'd be here all day.
Yeah, no, we would just be going through all of them. Which I mean, now that you've seen his acting, maybe you'll be able to, self go look yourself whether or not these movies are worth taking a peek. I don't know. Maybe he's acting opposite. I think I seen one with he was like acting with Frank Rio.
Oh yeah, that one. I saw the poster. I don't know what it was called, but I did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen one like that one too. So I mean, he's doing acting jobs with like other people. I mean, they were straight to streaming, but I mean, still, right? He's still doing something, something, I
Yeah.
guess.
He was doing good. He was doing decent work in his time. So,
Yes. So in this two-parter episode, in this first half, we're gonna go ahead and take his 12 top earning worldwide movies. And we're basically gonna look at them and objectively say whether or not they should be either higher on that 12 movie list, lower on that 12 movie list, and basically come up to what we believe is kind of like a
the
good consensus
consensus.
with the Rotten Tomato score factored in, as well, because that's usually our metric when it comes down to this.
Yeah.
But in the second half, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys our personal top five. No, no Rotten Tomato score, no box office, no nothing. Just whatever Bruce Willis movies come into our head, and they don't even have to be on this top 12 list. This one was just kind of like the one where his top earning, and I guess a lot of people really loved him in these roles. So that's what we're kind of basing it down
Yeah.
on. So that's gonna happen in this first part. Second part should be coming after Christmas. Hope you guys still stick with us for that one. But I mean, Bruce Willis, come on, come on. How are you not gonna want to know what Bruce Willis tops movies is?
That's
Come
right.
on,
That's right.
especially from the Film Bros podcast. Now let's get it.
We need to get to it.
All right, so Bruce Willis, the man, the myth, the legend. He's obviously been in multiple films. I think the most notable one is Die Hard. I mean, which one do you believe is like the most notable in his filmography?
In my opinion, I
Like when people talk
okay.
Bruce Willis, what is one that,
You would
just
think.
automatically?
I guess it would be Die Hard. Die Hard, or I guess if you like know him like that, you'll Unbreakable. I think Die Hard and Unbreakable are like the two.
I always thought The Sixth Sense
That
and
one,
Armageddon.
maybe The Sixth Sense. Yeah, Armageddon is like if you've been following him along. Like if you don't know him, I guess it would be Die Hard.
Yeah, probably, huh? I
Yeah,
mean, his I,
I would
I
say.
think his catchphrase is kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's,
Oh yeah, you told me
come
that,
with me
and
if you want to live, that. But
yeah,
Bruce Willis is simple, right? His is yippee ki yay, motherfucker. Like that's his
yeah.
shit. He loves it. Out of curiosity, I mean, I know you've already witnessed all the Die Hards, at least up until what, the fourth one, I believe, right?
I saw
I
that.
stopped at four.
Yeah, I
I
stopped that
stopped
for.
at. I want to get to the fifth one. I ordered them all on Blu-ray, so when the fifth one shows up, I'll be able to make a determination. But I haven't seen that fifth one. I think a lot of people haven't seen that fifth one at all. But which Die Hard do you feel like his catchphrase suited him the most?
The first, I think, I think anything after that was forced. Just so they can like get it in. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like that. Other like I'm telling you, when he slips it in at the end of like the third film, I was like, what? The whole movie just went by and you didn't say it once, but right then and there, you after the guy's dead, you're just like spitting on his grave with it. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
the
roll
first one was
credits
perfect.
afterwards. The movie's over. The
Yeah.
movie's now over now.
Yeah, I thought the first one was the most perfectly used, best way to use that.
I personally think Live Free or Die Hard. Like I like the first one because obviously that's where it kind of plays a little bit more of a role within the film and it's not just the catchphrase. But I do think as a catchphrase, I think it fit in the fourth one, right? Because like it literally happens right before he like shoots himself and murders the villain. Like literally, he got shot already, and he puts his bullet in the same bullet hole, and like right before he pulls the trigger, he's like yippee yay mother, and he like poof, and
Yeah,
it's just like. I kind of feel like as a catchphrase, it kind of fit right there. That's just my,
better,
it's a
better,
vibe.
better used than what it was in what they used it for before. That's the best way to put that.
Okay. All right. I guess I could take that. I guess I could take that. All right. So let's get into it. Let's start jumping into it. So we're gonna go from bottom to top, what his worst movies are, or I guess what his least, excuse me, what his what his least box office total was. So we'll start from the bottom. We'll get make our way to the top. And the first things first, the first movie that came into play was Die Hard. Unfortunately, the cult classic that it's become. Obviously, it's been back in theaters multiple times.
Yeah,
But the 1988's Die Hard is like his lowest performing film, probably because it was his first film, and maybe not a lot of people were into like the whole action thing. Plus, you got to take into consideration that there was not a lot of international uh, box office around this time in 1988. It was mostly in the United States, so
yeah.
maybe it was a smash hit back then, but comparatively speaking, now not so much. The first Die Hard raked in $83 million. Um, literally
I guess that's not
literally
too bad
nothing. If you look at the international numbers, it got nothing from the international numbers, nothing overseas or anything like that. So for the most part, that's the number we're gonna go with, and that makes it its lowest performing, his lowest performing film on this top 12 list. But the Rotten Tomato score says differently because it does have a 94% certified fresh with a 94% on the popcorn meter. So that would make him kind of like his most cult classic film. Like a lot of people loved it, but just didn't make the money it needed to at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Or it
I
did. Let's be honest. It probably did make money.
for the '80s, I would say that that's pretty
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm. We're not
But he was,
adjusting for inflation in this bitch, by the
yeah,
way.
no, he was juggling with like Terminator, Alien, fucking Rambo. I would imagine this did okay. Like this was okay numbers.
For the time. And then I mean the fact that it became a cult classic after that, right? It became literally a conversation in itself that this movie, whether or not it's a Christmas movie, whether it is, it's not, it's an action film. On top of that, one of his, he had hair, right? He had hair
Yeah,
at
he
this
had
time
hair.
too. So, I don't know. Do you feel like this movie should have been moved up in this list? Is the 12th spot decent for where it's at? I mean,
I think it probably should have gone up a little bit. In my opinion, not I'm not saying like top 5, but I would say like top 10. I don't think it deserves to be 12.
no, no, but maybe because in the time it's just the money that it made. But for the most part, this is his lowest performing box office as of, I guess in the beginning of his career. But yeah, so Die Hard is at number 12. Number 11 would be Die Hard with a Vengeance, 1995. This is his third film in the Die Hard franchise. Than it did better than the first one, but just does not reach the heights of what his other, I would say, his other entries decided to give him. 60% on the tomato meter, big drop from Die Hard, where that was at a 94 certified fresh. The popcorn meter is at a 83. Again, it dropped significantly from the 94 range and dropped it down to 83. I don't know. What do you feel about this one?
I
Oh,
I don't agree
oh,
with
by
this
the
one
way,
either.
by the way, this one made 117 million at the
You
time.
see, even I mean, better than what we got, but this is not to be the 11th slot. I would put this at like again within the top 10, maybe like skirting 7 and 6. But I don't think this will be 11. This is crazy.
Sorry, 100 mil, 100 mil. So it actually dropped from its sequel, but we'll discuss that right now.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, this one I thought it was a lot better, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you had Samuel L. Jackson, you had Bruce Willis. I think that this one was the one that they kind of dipped a lot more into the whole racist stereotypes and shit like that, which I mean, for the 90s, it was a little bit more okay in these action films because, Lethal Weapon basically propped it up to be at that point.
Yeah.
Um, Not really Rambo. I want to say it's Lethal Weapon's fault. I want to believe it's Mel
I'm pretty
Gibson's
sure.
and Donald Glover's fault. But you know, they made it a lot more okay. And I mean, at the end of it, it made less money than its sequel. But I mean, overall, like in the grand scheme of things, it just I think a lot of people were kind of turned off by this film at the time, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't get it. I thought it was better. I thought it was one of the good ones. I thought this was
You're
way
like
better.
sprinkling in that stuff. I fucking loved it. I
I mean,
fucking
I, I
loved
mean, I get it, but like, if it works, you know what I mean? Because even in the first one, they gave him that what's his name, um, the black cop to bounce off of too. But I mean, I
Oh,
guess, and then they kind of get
yeah.
him in the second one, but not really. And then I mean, they ditch him entirely for Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, Reginald Vell Johnson.
Yeah. So I mean, they get rid of him, and so, but I would say like they like sprinkled that in.
Yeah, but it wasn't as aggressive, I would say, as the third film, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay.
If we
Yeah. I guess
if
that's
we
true.
look back at it, it wasn't as aggressive. Like you'd have the conversation here and there, but it wouldn't be like full blown,
Yeah,
oh,
because
let's
of
just have these.
racist type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so me personally, I do think as a film, because you got to think about it too. We've kind of grown past that. We're not so appalled by it. We could laugh at certain things like that. I mean, if you're kind of born later than I would think you, that a lot of people would be kind of offended, like, "Oh, this is where it all started,"
Yeah.
right? Like this. But I think it was, like I said, it was kind of like, yeah, it's okay to laugh at these things at the moment. Maybe at the time they didn't laugh as hard as we are right now, but I think top 10 for sure, but the fact that it barely edged out by the box office
I know, treating this
out of
movie
the
like
top 10 is
Superman. No,
gotta be, yeah, gotta be crazy.
that's
But
crazy.
this movie did make 100 mil. Like I said, kind of dropped from its sequel, which Die Hard 2 is next on the list, basically making the top 10. This one was the one that made 117 million. So where Die Hard with a Vengeance basically dropped 17 million, Die Hard 2 did better than the original. It was basically the peak at the time between the trilogy.
I hated it. I thought this movie was a goddamn snooze fest.
68% on the tomato meter, 70% on the popcorn meter. Did better technically when it comes down to the tomato score and the popcorn meter. Um, I guess the audience didn't really love this one. It's like right smack in the middle between Die Hard 3 and Die Hard 1. So, I mean,
Yeah, no.
this is the one that it was on uneasy ground for
I would
sure.
I would have made this one 12. Like I think the other ones like if I could do it, it'd be 2, 1, 3, and then the rest of like the list maybe. But yeah, no, I think this one deserves dead last. I thought it was so boring. I was just like, this is not innovative in the slightest. I told you, I think they should have done one, and then they should have done story three, and then maybe this one just to recreate it and go back to its roots. But yeah, no, I thought this was boring.
No, but like I said, literally the tagline, they couldn't even think of anything more better than Die Harder. Like they're like Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
Yeah,
Like that no, they're not getting original stories like that. Like I said, this one came out in the 1990s. This was 5 years before the third one came out. So they basically were trying to capitalize on the success that the first Die Hard was basically raking in, and they pulled a Home Alone and did the exact same thing, just more aggressive. They decided to just
yeah,
go. Him, you know, story wise, him leaving his old precinct to go to a new precinct in Los Angeles and still being not stuck somewhere else, not in Los Angeles anymore, is has to be the funniest piece of irony within the
yeah.
whole the franchise. And then he still goes back to New York by the third one. I'm like, okay, story wise, is he kind of deserves some of this shit. I don't know.
I thought that was weird too. I was like, really? Didn't we just spend our whole time in L.A. and then he was mentioning he worked in New York? What is he doing up in Washington of all places? I thought that
Going
was
back
weird.
home for the holidays, but you get stuck in Washington is funny.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. I think this movie just boring. I thought it was boring.
Mm, I mean, you got your first glimpse at what was his name? Um, he was in Terminator 2.
Oh yeah, still not enough. Still not enough. I mean, I get it, but no. I think I think this movie deserved to be like 12th.
And what was his name too? What was his name? He was also in your favorite show, The Peacemaker, as an older
All
guy.
right, slow your roll. I don't know nothing about none of that.
2D is funny.
What the heck?
Oh, Robert Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently, James Cameron saw him in Die Hard 2 and casted him for that role in Terminator 2 based on the little bit of screen time he got in this movie. Isn't that crazy?
I guess. I guess when that's just the funny way Hollywood works, man. You know, can't really do nothing about it.
So you would say that this one goes at the very end? I wouldn't put, I mean,
I'd put it at the very end.
I would say the weakest of the bunch for sure, but I mean, I wouldn't put it at the very end. Got to be lesser movies than Die Harder, right?
I don't think so. I don't agree.
It got to be number 12 for you.
Yeah,
I would leave it at maybe etching out the top 10, but I wouldn't. I Yeah, probably maybe 11. Maybe 11, not 12, maybe 11. But yeah, that one raked in 117 million. So I guess we're making adjustments as we go along. The very next film in his filmography that raked in some kind of dough, but not as much as you would think. Years later, 2013's Red 2 raked in about 148 million. 44% green splat, 63% on the popcorn meter. Um, this one made the top 10. It hit number 9. Like I said, times obviously changed and stuff like that, but this is kind of when I would say he started going down in his career and started making a bunch of like random movies here and there. He came back for like Unbreakable in the 20 and like not Unbreakable for like Split
yeah.
and Glass in like the later 2016, 2018 era and all that stuff. But for the most part, I would say this is probably 2013, 2014 is when he started going downhill. I think A Good Day to Die Hard came out around there, which is the fifth Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
That one came out around like 2014 or something like that too. So I mean, he was basically towards the end of his career, uh, considering that he was like already past his 50s when this one came out as well. So I mean, yeah,
I'm
44%. What do we think?
I was rocking with this one a lot more. I mean, I guess it's cool that it's in the top 10, but I would have pushed it up a little bit better. I do understand it has some faults. Like this is like pretty cringy comedy action movie. But I mean, I think
Mm,
the cheesiness to it too. So I would have put it more up, but I understand because if the first one, if they couldn't get a third one off, it has to be because this one did pretty bad. So I get it,
basically.
but I don't
Mm.
agree.
I don't agree either. There was a lot of funny moments in this one. You know, Marv faking his death. Um, There was cool action scenes too, I believe, with like the cop locker room when he was in the evidence room with the chips and all that stuff. Um, Storm Shadow making an appearance in this one, which that's not his real name. His real name is uh Lee Byung Hun.
Yeah,
Love that guy. He's amazing. Brian Cox coming back, having Anthony Hopkins, which rewatching this movie, I forgot that like I remember everything, but I forget Anthony Hopkins was in this movie. And just, for him to be there for the villain, I really enjoyed this one. I think this one goes higher up on the
I
list,
would say
but
yeah.
I mean, the audience basically spoke and said, "Man, this is not the one." I even like the
Yeah,
transitions in this movie. Like the whole they turn into paintings and then it goes
yeah,
into a different
like a
spot. I
comic book. Yeah,
thought it was sick. I don't
I
know.
thought it was nice.
I don't hear you giving this movie enough praises either.
I need it to go up. I would have preferred this one more up.
Okay, a little bit higher, but like I said, the audience did kind of speak. 148 million isn't his worst raked in film, but for the most part, I would say this is probably like the beginning of his,
Yeah,
his drop.
of his like older career. Older in his career. I guess it does look kind of bad. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Moving on though. We do have his next film in his filmography, The Jackal, raking in 159 million, 24% on the tomato meter, green splat, 51% on the popcorn meter.
Tomato meter.
Um tomato. Uh we had a good cast in this one, right? Or
Good
you don't
cast,
think
but this movie sucked. I I didn't
Richard
laugh.
Sear?
Yeah, Michael Gere or whatever his name is, Richard
Oh,
Gere.
yeah. Richard Gere, yeah.
I yeah nah man. I thought this movie fucking J.K. Simmons randomly being in it. I thought this movie sucked. I thought it was boring. I would have put this one at 11 just because Bruce Willis does give a pretty decent performance, but other than that, this movie was whack. I thought it was boring too.
1997. This one came out his his latest Die Hard, which was Die Hard 3, and he basically was trying to play the villain this time. He was no longer interested in being the hero.
It was boring.
I do like this movie for Bruce Willis. I just the rest of it
It's boring.
I understand.
I would
I
have put
understand.
this at the bottom. Like this one deserves the bottom.
Do you think that the possibly the hype from Die Hard 3 kind of carried over to this one and that's why it kind of made a little bit more
Yeah,
money than his other features?
I would say he was making his name out there, doing cool stuff, and then he just hit us on a one off. This is like the equivalent of Stallone's like Breaking Point or whatever that movie was that like kind of hurt his career.
Breaking is that what it's called? Breaking Point?
Is that what I think? I can't remember what it's called.
No, okay. I mean, like I said, this one I don't really have a lot to say. Uh, I mean, I like Richard Gere. I mean, I should have probably looked up into him a little bit more, but this wasn't a Richard Gere conversation. It was more Bruce Willis. But I mean, I wonder if he was like a known action star as well, like at the time, and he was basically, supposed to be kind of like the draw-in as well. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Especially
know.
in a time where movies like Air Force One was coming out with Harrison Ford, Enemy of the State with Will Smith was basically coming out like a few years after this one. Like this one was like one of the ones where like they were taking it like to the White House and stuff, just like Harrison Ford was kind of, right?
Yeah, I think they should. I think this movie should have went into a whole nother direction because I mean we barely got any cool like fight scenes. We barely got any cool shootouts, and he didn't even win. How are you gonna focus on the bad guy and then not have him win?
Why do you want the bad guy to win though?
That's the character that we were like introduced to first, technically. So like following movie logic or movie writing, he should have won.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're not gonna let the terrorists win in the movie. That I think
Yeah,
that was supposed to be like the twist. Like, oh
unfortunate
yeah,
because I would
the
have had him
audience
win.
didn't see this coming, but you saw it coming. Oh,
I would
you
have had
didn't
him
see
win.
it coming.
He's just like, hey man, he's one step ahead of us the whole time, and then he he does something stupid like turn around and shoot at the guy. This movie was kind of dumb. I was not really rocking with it, but Bruce Willis does okay.
I mean, I probably just for the memorability of it, I probably wouldn't have put this one on top 10 at all. So
Yeah, no,
this
I
one
wouldn't either.
probably this one would have to make its way to the back of the line. But the audience spoketh. The audience spoketh. But yeah, like I said, this is coming off his action tenure where he basically switched up and basically doing all the hard hitting stuff. Maybe this was just the wrong shuffle in the deck that he decided to pick out of. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. This one baffled me too. It's fine. Moving on. Looper 2012. Oh, dude, possibly some of Bruce Willis' peak right here. Possibly some of the most peakiest peak that we got. Looper made 176 million at the box office. Not a lot of money. Not a lot of money,
Yeah,
especially for
no,
2012. Not a lot of money.
going up
Unfortunate,
against the
but
MCU's prime right there.
basically, what are they gonna do against that, right? 93% on certified fresh on the tomato meter and 82% on the popcorn meter. I mean, this is probably one of his higher rated ones as well. This is probably up there with Die Hard, with like a lot of the fan favorite and like I guess just overall writing when it comes to the story. But unfortunately, just didn't scrape anything as much. Maybe it did go up against some of the MCU heavy hitters. Maybe it was put it later on in the year and people weren't interested in a time travel movie.
Yeah,
But I mean, I would say this one should be up at least up there higher in the top five. I don't know why it would barely make it into the middle of the top 10,
yeah,
but and the Jackal being right behind it is kind of sad.
yeah. I know.
I
I
don't know.
kind of enjoyed this one too. Like I like the where the story was going. I do think they should have focused a little bit more on that like romantic aspect versus trying to juggle like the mob stuff that was going on and all those kinds of things. But other than that,
Mm.
like I was rocking with it. I did enjoy this one. I think as he got older, he did good. So I was down for the wave. This one was pretty solid. I do think it should be more up there too.
A younger Paul Dano was in this one too. So
Yeah, young Paul Dano. Yeah,
Paul
the
Dano,
same guy that's been getting fucking slack from Tarantino for some reason. But yeah,
yeah,
I think this movie was pretty solid.
yeah. I think this one's one of my favorite Bruce Willis films. And the fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in this one as well. I When did The Dark Knight Rises come out? Did this that one come
20,
out like 2013?
yeah, like 2013.
No,
Yeah, 2010, 2009 or 8 was when The Dark
The
Knight came
Dark Knight
out.
Rises.
Yeah,
Yeah, or The Dark Knight came
yeah.
out.
And
Yeah,
then Dark Knight
okay.
Rises was like 2013.
So he was basically in his acting bag at this time
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So I mean, probably peak and peak. I don't know. I really enjoyed Bruce Willis in this one. The little bit of action that we got, and then I really enjoy the whole send them back so they can get slaughtered by themselves is crazy. I think
yeah.
that whole like timeline story is pretty sick in my opinion. But the transition as well for Joseph Gordon-Levitt to go to Bruce Willis
Pretty
kind of
solid
fucked
stuff.
up. I think it's kind of fucked up because like as time went on, he was losing his hair, and then by the time Bruce Willis shows up, he only has like a couple strands on his head, and then he goes
Yeah,
fully bald, and I'm like,
that's messed up.
man,
But it was
yeah.
pretty good stuff. You can't deny that. Like they did their best to make it work.
And the whole prosthetic nose on his face too to make him look more like Bruce Willis is
It's good
top
stuff.
top
It's good
top
stuff.
tier. Top tier, but yeah, just didn't make enough, not enough for a sequel, not enough to even want to be like, do people want to see more time travel stuff? Nothing. It kind of sucks. This is kind of one of those ones where I wish this original idea kind of traveled on to like sequels and stuff, and it just did not happen. So unfortunate, unfortunate. Moving on though, we do have his next best film, and that is the original Red, the first one that came out before. Uh, his slump, basically his slump. This one came out in 2010, raking in about 199 million, 72% certified fresh on the tomato meter, and a 72% on the popcorn meter. Possibly his prime, his heydays, I would say, because Live Free Die Hard basically came out in '07. This one comes out right a few years after in 2010. Possibly some of his better stuff in my opinion. This movie was stacked. I mean, kind of like the sequel. It had more Morgan Freeman in this one, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren, Carl Urban was in this original film as well. So there was there was a lot going on for this movie in my opinion. I
Yeah,
think Bruce Willis kind of gives one hell of a performance, kind of like what Looper was doing, what he was doing towards the end in Looper. I think this is where like he was kind of like in his serious bag, kind of pulling in some McClane energy in this role, but at the for the most part, he was still kind of giving a suave kind of to himself CIA agent. I appreciated this movie for sure.
yeah, no, I agree. I think this one should be a little bit should be higher too, but I do agree that this movie was pretty solid. Like I'm telling you, I think older Bruce Willis was starting to get it. It sucks what's happening to him right now, but it's he was doing good shit like towards the end. This one you could tell he took it seriously, and then the second one he was like, you know what, we had fun with it. I want to have fun with it. And then that's where it all went wrong, maybe. But you can tell he was taking this one seriously.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Um, Morgan Freeman being in this one too, giving us that little emotional beat too, was kind of crazy. I never expected
Yeah,
something like that to happen. Um, but for the most part, for a Bruce Willis flick, I do enjoy. I really do enjoy this franchise. I wish we would
yeah,
have. This is another one too. I wish we would have got Red 3 and 4 before he basically decided to, do whatever he was doing. But I mean, this one we ended at Red 2, and I guess I could be
yeah.
grateful for the two movies that I got.
The money just wasn't there.
It makes you kind of sad.
Does it?
Moving on, Unbreakable, the early 2000s, right after his action arc, his villain arc, right in the middle of the 2000s, he teams up with M Night Shyamalan and brings what a twist. He brings what a twist to the table, right? And what a twist that it was because he basically reunited with Samuel L. Jackson for this one. Him, Samuel L. Jackson, and I believe it was also the kid that was in The Sixth Sense, Joseph Dunn. He basically, they basically all reunite for this film where like it's a comic book hero kind of mixed into there or whatever. 70% tomato meter, 77 on the popcorn meter. I mean, I gotta say, this is kind of like the movie after rewatching it. This is one where he was kind of pulling in from the Sixth Sense bag for sure. He was kind of bringing in that energy that he was giving in that film. Uh, but for the most part, it's. I don't want to say M Night Shyamalan was still figuring out himself when he made this one, but you could tell that there was some issues when it came down to the directing part. Still kind of solid for what it was. This movie did make 248 million, so it was still kind of like a smash hit for like a lot of people, especially the budget that it had at the time. I think it was like less than $30 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, they basically they raked in the dough with this one. But I mean, what do you think about Unbreakable?
I thought it was pretty solid. It being top five makes sense for sure. Maybe top three, just because I think M Night Shyamalan is that guy, and he could. I mean, maybe you can talk about whatever movies he's doing now, and have that argument. But I think back then he had it with him. So Unbreakable, The Sixth Sense, like I think those ones are probably the better performing ones. Like I told you, I think I like him a little better when he's serious. So Unbreakable definitely is really good. Deserves more praise. I think top five is good, but it should probably be up there.
A little bit higher.
Yeah.
I do, yeah, like I said, I do appreciate even Samuel L. Jackson's acting. Him being glass and all that stuff, and falling and shattering and ah.
Oh gosh.
I can't help but laugh every single time it happens. But I'm like, damn, like it must be painful. But for sure, this one, like I said, I like what he was doing, but coming off of the Sixth Sense and still giving that kind of like performance that he gave then. I don't know if that was kind of like the talk that they had, like, hey, that energy you brought in that film, bring it back for this one, literally the next year over. Like I said, I enjoy this film as well. Should it be top five? Maybe, possibly, but I don't know. Maybe there's better Bruce Willis films out there, in my opinion.
He's a
Um,
non-believer.
I,
Shun him.
no, I believe in him, but even when he came back for like Glass and stuff like that, maybe he was just too old by that time. Maybe he wasn't gonna give that same performance, but he just couldn't channel that same energy that he had in the first one. So it kind of derailed it for the sequels, in my opinion. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah,
an
but
older
we're
Bruce
not, we're
Willis
not here to
problem.
talk about Split in Glass, okay?
Yeah, unfortunately, Split that even though that's probably one of the ones that broke a lot of records, he was only in it for 5 seconds, so it
Yeah, it's not about
can't
him.
really count. And Glass, even though they did bring him back for like a good majority of that film, it didn't do that well. Like literally, it made less than the top 12 that we made. I would have to
Yeah.
have made this list at least to top 16 to have included that one. So it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it just shows that this is kind of like maybe this was probably Bruce Willis's peak, like acting wise, and it's just unfortunate that when he was playing an action person, it felt like it was that same action dude. If he was playing a serious person, it felt like it was that same serious person. His diversity just was not as I guess honed in as his later years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Moving on, The Fifth Element,
Jesus.
1997, the same year the Jackal was released. So you basically saw him in a sci-fi flick, and then right after that, you saw him and as basically the villain in a as a Russian villain mob, right? 71% on the tomato meter, 87% on the popcorn meter, and this one made 263 million, etched out what um Unbreakable did in the later years. But 1997 had to be like his heyday, right? On top of that, you did have Chris Tucker in this film, which he basically was coming off of Friday, right? Mila Djokovic was also in this one. Gary Oldman. I mean, this cast was pretty stacked. I mean, comedy, sci-fi, action. I mean, basically had all the makings for a hit, right?
I would say I enjoyed it. I mean, it was okay. Like that's the thing. I think I had a lot of fun with it. Did I kind of enjoy the space stuff going on? Sure, but I think as a Star Wars fan, it kind of looks at you kind of look at it like, man, this you can tell that they were trying to draw their inspiration from somewhere, and that's just where it came from. So I mean, I was rocking with it.
Either
I
that or
like
Star Trek, right?
right.
I kind of felt like they were kind of leaning out of both pots, to be
I
honest.
would say it's like the alien aspect and everything like that, space cop type stuff. Cool, I'm rocking with it. I do think he gives a better performance here, Bruce Willis, like strictly, and like that's the thing. I could watch this movie again, but like it just feels too over the top for him. So maybe that's why he gets the elevation a little bit. But I did like Bruce Willis in this one, especially towards the end. Like I think when he's giving that speech about like how he loves her and like he like to live is to love and all that stuff. Like I thought that was a nice little touch at the end, so I was rocking with it.
Okay, okay. I agree with you. I agree with you. Would I put this as top five?
No, probably not.
Probably
Top
no,
10,
probably not.
top 10, but not top 5. No.
Not top five. Uh, like I said, I do think that this is one of the movies that the whole cast makes it. Like I said, Chris Tucker, Mila Djokovic, Gary Oldman, and Bruce Willis kind of carry this film. If it was just Bruce Willis, like you said, how over the top that he is, and you probably surrounded him with a bunch of nobodies, I don't think this movie would basically do half as good as it
No.
tries to make you feel. Because believe me, it does a lot of trying, in
It
my opinion.
tries. It
Yeah.
does try. But I
But
do like the emotional beats about it, you know? And
yeah,
if it's fucking random Debo cameo as the president, it's crazy.
like I said, right off of Friday, so you
Yeah.
gotta understand how popular that they probably were at the
I was
moment.
like, I was watching it and like CJ was like staring at the screen for time time, and I read, look, it's Debo without his bike.
And she was just like shaking her head. She was like, "Don't lure me into this no more."
Yeah, she's just like, I'm going to bed. This is crazy.
But yeah, The Fifth Element was not top five, but it was one of his highest earning films at this point because we are past the fifth one, which was Unbreakable. Now, top four is The Fifth Element. Moving on, we do have his next Die Hard film in the series, which was Live Free or Die Hard. Like I said, came out in 2007. This movie made raked in about 388 million. So this is where we're getting to his higher, more earning films here. 82% certified fresh on the tomato meter, 86% on the popcorn meter. Can't deny this one. I do, in my opinion, I do think that this is one of his better Die Hard films. If I
Yeah,
had to like
it's because
rate
he's
them
older.
myself, oh yeah, he's older, more distinguished. I mean, do I believe that a 50-year-old man would be able to do half the shit that he was doing in this film? Probably not. But for the most part, it was still entertaining. The story wasn't too convoluted to the point where you were like, oh wow, this is not believable for the most part. This was around the rising tech era in the
Yeah,
'07, so that's probably
2007.
what kind of motivated a lot of people to want to come and watch this film because the technical age was coming through. For the most part, I did like his acting in this one, and plus the cast in this one was just great. Justin Long, Timothy Oliphant, Maggie Q, what was her name too? Elizabeth Winston
Yeah,
showing up in this one. Kind of, you know, they were trying to make it seem like she was gonna be like the next female McLean, but they basically kind of abandoned all those plans later
yeah,
on. So I don't know. I kind of enjoyed this one. Top five, I would agree with. Top 10, I would agree with as well.
yeah. I agree. I like I said, I think the older he gets, the more he gets in his bag. I do think if the Die Hard franchise had probably started in the 2000s, it would have aged better. Like I do think because it started off in the 80s and the 90s, like it's a little dated. 2007, you have the technology to fucking make gunshots look real, cars look real, things look real, realer. You know what I mean? Like this is like right before, or no, this is like right around the time Transformers came out and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it was cool. You can rock with it. I do think he would have benefited should those movies have just come out a little bit later, because then it'd be like, okay, 3, 4, and 5, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, so on and so forth. I'm down. Top three, I can live with that. Top 10 for sure, but like top three is kind of questionable in my opinion.
I gotta say that Len Wiseman, the director of this one, was kind of channeling his inner Michael Bay hard in this film for sure. So
I think,
that's
like I
another
said,
like
I think when you got to go up
pleasing aspect.
against, I think when you got to go up against something like Transformers, you got to get in there, you know?
Yeah, you gotta show some realism with these explosions. He's like, damn, I almost burned my fucking eyebrows off a couple of times.
Yeah,
But for the most part, in 2007, Bruce Willis, this is around the time where he was really honing his craft. It just take it just sucks. It took him to be middle aged and all that. And I think you're kind of right when you say that if these Die Hard films would have came out in the early 2000s, he probably would have been like ruling the whole early 2000s up until maybe like 2010 or whatever, and then kind of gracefully bowed out. But the fact that these diehards were kind of sprinkled out between the 80s, 90s, and you got one in the early 2000s, and then you got his fifth one back like I want to say like 2013 or something like that as well. Like that's when you kind of saw his decline,
yeah,
unfortunately. But for the most part, 2000s was his sweet spot. If he would have
I
just
would
kept
say.
on it, yeah, it would have been great. It would have been great. But yes, Live Free or Die Hard, top three. His second most highest earning film in this um in this list is Armageddon, 1998's Armageddon. So uh, another movie right in the sweet spot. Like I said, Michael Bay was the one who actually directed this film, talking about channeling your inner Michael Bay. This movie was pretty much stacked. Billy Bob Thornton, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck was in this one. Will Patton was in here. Uh, you got what was his name too? The big black dude
Oh yeah,
from the Green Mile was
yeah.
in this one.
May he rest in peace.
You had a stacked fucking cast right here in 1998, right after his third Die Hard. He still wasn't playing. He came off playing the villain actually from the Jackal. Basically did Armageddon, The Sixth Sense, and right after that, Unbreakable. This man was like in every single movie, every single year in the '90s. without missing a beat. Armageddon comes in with a 43% on the tomato meter, 73% on the popcorn meter. This one made about $553 million in the
Yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s.
I think this goes in hand with Michael Bay and like what he does with like his own movies, because you can say what you want about Transformers, but I do think that like his movies still have some kind of heart in them, and you can very much tell that with the heartfelt scenes that we were getting in this one, like when Ben Affleck and um
Liv Tyler.
yeah, like shared their moments and stuff.
Hmm.
You were like, you felt that, when Bruce Willis and her were talking, you felt that. Like, I do think there was really some really good heartfelt moments. Like, even when the dad was talking to the I guess his baby mama or whatever, and was like, you don't gotta say it's for me or nothing. Just make sure he gets it and all that stuff, because he's gonna be going to space and he could die. Like, I think this movie had a lot of like heart in it, and oh my gosh, it was so good. I do agree that this is like top five.
Yeah. I do say, yeah, Michael Bay's direction, Tom not Tom Bruce Willis's acting in this one was pretty much top tier. I did like Ben Affleck being in there, being like kind of like the goofball, the comedy relief. Obviously, this movie is Michael Bay encoded. You do have like the club scenes,
Yeah.
the explosions. You have, what was the dude that comes out in the Adam Sandler's movies? He's
Oh
in this
yeah,
one as well.
randomly fucking showing up. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's basically like this fucking bad guy. I don't know. That very much Michael Bay encoded throughout this whole film, but I do think Bruce Willis being the one that was marketed for this film, being front and center of the poster, basically being that guy, and he wasn't necessarily he was in there as the main character, but he wasn't the main character. It was
It
I
was
thought it
good.
was pretty much genius that they were just capitalizing off his name.
Yeah, it was good. This movie is actually really solid. I get there. I get that.
So top five,
Top
top
five.
three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And last but not least, his best film to date, where he made the most money and probably the best scored one as well, The Sixth Sense, 1999's The Sixth Sense. Like I said, M. Night Shyamalan directed this one. You had Haley Joel Osment, Bruce Willis, Tony Collette. This is probably the sweetest spot that we're gonna get when it comes down to Bruce Willis right here. Maybe it was the fact that he was able to bounce off Haley Joel Osment as well. 86% on the certified fresh, 90% on the tomato meter, the popcorn meter. This one made 672 million.
Yeah,
Not too bad. Not
not
too
too
bad.
bad. I get it. I think this like, if it wasn't this, I could have seen Unbreakable. You know what I mean? I could have seen a good handful of them being number one, but the fact that it's a Sixth Sense makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That this movie almost made me tear up. I was like, I hadn't seen it all the way for some odd reason. I think I get up to the part where he says like he sees the dead people and stuff, and for some reason I just check out. But having seen it entirely, I almost cried when he was like saying bye to his wife and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, the this is what M Night Shyamalan is kind of famous for, but that twist ending where you were like, "What the hell is that?" I didn't know that he was. I don't want to ruin this for because this is kind of like the reason why you go watch it, even though this is a 1999 film. Get on that shit. But the twist at the end with Bruce Willis is kind of like the shit that first of all it's iconic till this day. And I mean Haley Joel Osment's I See Dead People is still iconic till this day as well. But like that whole twist that basically cemented M. Night Shyamalan as the director for that, Bruce Willis being able to sell that role and give us something give us something other than that action star that a lot of people known him for within the 80s and 90s. This is great. Like I said, probably the peak, and then you got the other films that basically razor out the edges of his
Yeah,
filmography.
yeah.
So
This is good. I really think that this being number one is just a solid pick for sure. Everything else you can question it, and I know in our part two we will, but like this one makes sense.
The Sixth Sense makes your top five every single time,
I would say. Like if
at
I'm
least.
like if I were to make a list, no, I would say it'd be there.
I would possibly think so. But yeah, so obviously, I mean, this is the people's choices. This is where the like I said, the box office kind of plays into it, the Rotten Tomato score and all that. But I mean, I guess we can't really. There's really no question with these top five here when it comes down to the money that they made and obviously with the tomato score. But personal taste wise is where me and you are gonna clash in this next episode. One thing that was needed to be clarified here, Die Hard 1 and 2 being kind of known as also Christmas movies. Now,
They're
this is where
not.
you make that. Hold on, this is where you pull your defense out, but I need to make my point first. Okay? Christmas time, these both of these movies are set. Okay? Listen here. Both of them are set during Christmas. Both of them end with Christmas music. Okay. You have hope that needs to be held on to throughout this whole film. On top of that, there is nods to Santa Claus and other ho 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 shenanigans. Mostly in the first one. In the second one, I kind of feel like you can argue that Christmas is just a backdrop, but at least in the first one, he's trying to get home to his kids for Christmas. That there's presents that he needs to give up. Die Hard is most definitely a Christmas movie. You
It's
can argue
not.
number two, but not number one.
It's not. They're not. That's not what Christmas. Yes, you can have a movie set in Christmas, but does that make it a Christmas movie? No.
No, I gave you other reasons though.
You have to preserve what the holiday spirit and what that entails. Like the real Christmas ones, Grinch, fucking the Polar Express, fucking what's another Christmas movie? Like those are all like Home Alone.
Do you know what John McClane would do to Grinch?
Shoot him. Yippee ki yay, green motherfucker, and then just shoot him.
Yeah, basically, boom, kablowo. Yeah.
No, no. There's the no. It can take place on Christmas, sure, but it has to have the heart of a Christmas movie in it, and that's not what these movies have. It's an action movie set on Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie. Those are two different things.
I guess we'll let the audience decide when it comes down to whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Can we get his worst acted film in his filmography throughout this list, please?
It's gotta be the fucking God. It's gotta be. I think it's gotta be like I'm trying to think. I really do think it has to be fucking Die Hard 2 or The Jackal.
I would say I like his outlandishness in the Fifth Element, and I understand that a lot of people really bought it, but to me that's not Bruce Willis, so I didn't really enjoy him in that one as an actor. I as like him being in there and kind of giving us something different, I understand it, but like I just you can't cement yourself to be this badass tough guy with rough edges and then you kind of pull out a performance like that. It kind of throws you for a loop.
Yeah, but I mean, I that's the thing. I welcome that. I was kind of like, okay, this is something completely different. You can tell like when he started trying. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
so I'd enjoy that. But like, think about it. Even in the Jackal, like we see him, and then it's just him being stoic all the time, except for when he has to like pretend to be gay for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But like that's it. That's the only time he like we get something good out of him. Like, but other than that, like that whole movie's just. I think the Jackal, and not even Die Hard 2, because he's just doing what he did in the first Die Hard. The Jackal. The Jackal is probably his worst.
Okay, the Jackal. I can kind of agree with that, but I do kind of say like the Fifth Element still kind of rewatching it too. It kind of gives me like a man, like maybe if he would have done it with a little bit more subtlety and
Yeah,
not just try to go off balls off the wall, I probably would have been able to sit with that performance a little bit
probably.
more.
Yeah, probably.
Um, do we agree with like his best acted um movie has to be maybe like The Sixth Sense?
The Sixth Sense, or if we're talking young, The Sixth Sense. If we're talking old, I would go down and say Red.
Red.
Yeah,
I would think Looper.
Looper too. Looper's pretty good. It's just
I
I
would
don't
say,
know. Like he's good, but I think that's the thing. Like I don't. I think when we get him, it's not enough in that one either.
you don't think? Because I mean, for the most part, here's my thing: is when it comes down to Looper, and this is probably because I would say his best acted one has to be Live Free or Die Hard. I feel like that's where he kind of perfected the
Okay.
John McClane, but also was trying to get like some emotional beats within there, where like it kind of fit a little bit in there. But I can see where you kind of can where you're saying with Red as well. That's kind of like in the same time frame,
Yeah.
but. I do like Looper. Maybe it's the story that's pulling it a little bit more, but I don't like that they try to make Joseph Gordon-Levitt copy Bruce Willis when Bruce Willis is the one that's in there less time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Um, does that is that a testimony to how good Bruce Willis can play it and Joseph Gordon-Levitt had to reach that? Or
Maybe.
is that like Bruce Willis cannot change up his routine for this movie because he didn't want it to be, and that Joseph Gordon-Levitt had to basically catch up.
Basically, I mean, I would say because it's like if you're old, you're already set in your ways. You know what I mean? Like you can't teach a dog new tricks is basically what they say.
Yeah,
So I guess that's what it is. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has to show that he evolves into what is Bruce Willis versus Bruce Willis trying to act young. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mm. So yours would be
The Jackal.
Red,
Oh,
Red.
the red,
Well,
yeah.
Jackal's the worst, but his
Yes,
best one would be Red for you.
probably be red,
I,
yeah.
I would say probably Live Free or Die Hard. That'd probably be one of the best ones for me.
Okay.
Um, you have to show Bruce Willis to somebody who's never seen Bruce Willis before. Which movie you which movie you recommending?
I'm going with. I think I'm going with.
I'm always busting out Red 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm always
I
going
think
with red. They're
yeah.
fun. They have romance. They're good action comedies, movies. Like I think that's a good balance of everything.
I agree. I agree. I do think that that's always the one. Like if somebody says Bruce Willis, I kind of feel like I'm like we got to watch Red. We
Yeah.
got to watch it. Especially the first one cuz Carl Urban's in that one, which I
Everybody
really do
knows him.
like him in that. I love him in that movie. I love I
Yeah.
think he's amazing in that one. And then Red 2, I just like I like I said, I like Storm Shadow in there. I like the acting. Anthony Hopkins kind of being in there towards the middle to the end is kind of like a nice treat that kind of puts a lot of icing on the cake for me. So
Yeah.
I'm just
I
saying.
would say yeah.
Um, and I guess last question, last but not least, um, if you could see one in IMAX, which one would you want to see?
Oh man. If I could see
If they
one in
said, "Hey, we're
IMAX.
releasing a re-release of this Bruce Willis film in IMAX, 2 nights only," which one would you have to get tickets to?
Okay. Um. I want.
Di-
Armageddon.
Armageddon?
I would say like that would be an
Because of the
experience.
explosions and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Imagine that in IMAX would be crazy.
Yeah. Armageddon. Red, I think undeniably for sure too. Or like if it's like one of the like one of his like earlier stuff, Unbreakable. I'm always gonna come back to those ones, I think.
Die Hard 3 or Looper?
Yeah. I guess those ones too. Those ones are pretty solid. Die Hard 3 ended up being like a an unexpected gem in my opinion. Like I wasn't expecting to like that one as much because the other two were kind of like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see it. I could see that.
They started catching up to speed a
Yeah.
little bit down the road, right? But yeah, let us know what you guys think. This is Bruce Willis's top earning films. We did have to adjust the list a little bit, but at the end of the day, uh, these movies have to belong at the top. I mean, we can argue the Jackal and maybe a couple other ones in between, but you cannot deny this is probably Bruce Willis's heydays, which were the 80s up until like the later early 2010s, I would say. And then after that, it just kind of, either his health started declining, his acting just started going I'm assuming he started aging out the role of, you know, action star,
Yeah,
and him being kind of prominently known as the action star, started losing a lot of momentum within the film industry, I would believe.
yeah,
I would have still liked to have seen him as maybe like a father figure for some of these roles, but for some reason, even in his later movies, he still insisted on being the action star.
yeah,
Maybe that's just what you said. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. He was stuck in those ways, and he said, "Hey, I'm doing this till the very end."
yeah.
And I think that's basically what happened. I think
I would
that's what
say
happened. Let us know what you guys think. Where would you put this down on your guys' list? Um, if you guys can start making a list right now, let us know what you guys would make as your top five Bruce Willis, because we are going to be giving you guys our top five on the next one coming up here soon. With that being said, though, let us know what topics we should be talking about, any movies you want us to review. We are going to be giving you guys our uh, 2025 list, our top 10 2025 list, and we're going to be giving you guys our top five worst 2025. You can kind of think where Josh's is going to be going. You can kind of think where mine's is going to be at as well, but you guys would have to tune in to find out. Josh, let them know where they could do all that, talk to us, and yeah.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post on episodes wherever. You can hit us up there for news and movies you want us to cover. Buzzsprout link, the social I just gave you. It's like a Patreon. You subscribe. You have the show good. Really appreciate it. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcast at FilmBros Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts. Again, wherever you get your podcast. Be a part of the conversation. Twitch at FilmBros Podcast. And if it's all said and done, subscribe to YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later. Okay.
Okay.